Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Teré Foster. We are now recording the sixth of the seventh series of ARC7 Arcology. Today's topic will be how core values define our objectives. Teré, welcome to the show again, and let's jump right into it.
All right. I'm happy to be here again. I'm so excited.
Yes, we hear so much about values, and core values are even more important than just values. And in your book, you wrote about 7 dimensions of life on Earth. And I would like to know more how these 7 dimensions on life on Earth, how are they based on values? And what is the connection between these 7 dimensions and the values that you are writing about in your book?
That's a very good question. So, the 7 dimensions we talked about before. So, you're starting with survival. Everyone starts with survival, and being able to, in this case, in our case with ARC7, is that our survival is done jointly instead of every individual struggling alone. So that is the first core value of all of it. If you don't subscribe to that, you're probably not going to enjoy any of it, right? But so the idea is that the same amount of time, energy, effort that you put out to survive alone, you could be helping others as a group all survive. And then even could be less effort. And so that would be fun to find out. But like right now, everybody works, let's say approximately 40 hours a week. So what if those same 40 hours a week would make it so that everybody does well instead of just one person? And then that's the community feel. And then the next core value from that, or the last core value from that, would be survival, then body, mind, and spirit. That's still us. And then family, community, humanity. And so with that same effort, with that same energy and things that we put out every day just for our own survival, we could be actually securing the survival of the planet. So, meaning that each time you build a new arcology and you help the next one get started, and you're part of that big vision, then you're part of a plan that wants all humanity to do well and survive. So that's the idea, the core values that that working together is better than struggling alone.
Okay, I'm sure there's many benefits of working together, and our evolution has shown us that time and again that working together we can do much more than if we just combine each individual efforts. However, what I would like to know, do we want everyone to survive? Because we know that there are so many theories on chosen people. Every religion basically talks about chosen people. So how do you handle these chosen people and survival of the fittest in science compared to survival as the ultimate value or the core value of arcology?
Right. So you're asking, is survival of the fittest part of the core values of?
No. How does that compare? Where does that exclude survival of the fittest? Because you said that everyone can take care of everyone. So survival of the fittest is not taking care for everyone. It's just understanding that only the fittest will survive, and that the whole lineage will be, let's say, privileged in comparison to another, because they will be fitter than others, and that will enable them to survive. That is the theory behind survival of the fittest. And as you discuss it, you're presenting that everyone should survive. Can you elaborate a bit on this difference? And then if we can move to the chosen people, are the people in Arcology 7 the chosen people? How did you think about it?
Okay, well, starting with that question, the people in an arcology have chosen arcology. So
Okay.
the arcology didn't choose them. It's not like, oh, you're so special, that's why we want you. But instead, it's like they've looked at all the opportunities in the world and they think, I like this arcology idea. So they choose that. So they're not chosen, they chose. So that's the first thing. And then survival of the fittest, that concept itself is not one of the core values or beliefs that I am working with. I don't believe in survival of the fittest. I think that that is something that causes people to become, their worst version of themselves, because they think, well, I deserve it because I'm better, or I deserve more because I have the capacity to get more, Okay, whatever, but it doesn't seem like a very friendly or happy um, core value to base things on. So it may be true that there is survival is easier for some than others. But that doesn't mean that we base everything on that. There goes my thing again. That doesn't mean we base every decision on survival of the fittest, is what I'm saying. So I don't base any decisions on survival of the fittest. I have based my decisions on what we think could happen in the highest and best circumstances when everyone involved is reaching for something better than better than survival of the fittest.
Okay, but should people, or is arcology encouraging people to be fitter in their mind and in their body? What's your take on that? What are the values regarding that? Because survival of the fittest does not just mean that the fittest will kill the lesser. It also means that people strive to achieve their maximum performance, emotionally, physically, intellectually. How do you go about that? Is there also a value or in arcology? Should people just go there and come a member of the community, and then that's their peak in life? Or will the community encourage people to work on themselves and self-improve in their body, in their mind, and of course, talk about their traumas and similar?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the core values, is that we are always improving, always reaching for highest and best in our own lives and in our relationships and in our health and in our mental state. We're always going to be reaching for highest and best. If you have people that are all reaching for highest and best, then you can talk sanely to them and go, hey, is this path leading to highest and best, or this one? And because you both want highest and best, you're going to find the best one, the best path. But if somebody doesn't have that highest and best in mind, they'll be going, I don't care, I do what I do. This is me, and then you can't even talk sanely or reason with someone who does not have highest and best as their core value. So that's a really big core value. And again, if they're listening to that and they're going through the training or even listening to this video and they're like highest and best, whatever, that pie in the sky, whatever, I think it will make a lot of people, move on because that's not their core value. If somebody has a core value of highest and best, you can do so much because everybody wants the best. So what I've seen is the problems that arise in the world, in relationships, in daily life, always stem from, let's not say always, but a lot of the time, it stems from someone involved who doesn't care whether it's highest and best outcomes. They just want what they want.
Yeah, but
So,
in life we go through stages, and one of the really common stage these days is depression. And when you're depressed, you're not about highest and best, you're just about survival. So how
yeah.
will you tackle that? Because life, even in a community, probably won't be just roses and, and happy stuff. So are there any values connected to how to help people get back on track, and how to help people, even if they are not, let's say, fit to get the highest and best out of them at this moment, so that they can steer against best version of themselves in the future?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Always reaching for the best version of themselves, um, from their own motivation, not someone else saying, is that really going to be highest and best for you? That's just going to be a miserable life if everyone is scrutinizing each other's progress or their
Okay, but
choices.
how will you introduce accountability? Because if there's not a third party accountability, there's a huge problem, especially in the time of crisis when people become completely delusional. Whom they will be accountable to? How will that work?
Okay, so remember we talked about the 7 dimensions, and then each
Mhm.
dimension has a team that works with that particular dimension. And if you can picture it also being like a center in the arcology. So, for example, a health center, body, mind, and spirit. Body is going to be the health center. So there are going to be health professionals there, all the things that are necessary to keep us healthy in body, mind, and spirit. So yes, you're going to have support in every step of the way, and that team is going to be expected to constantly upgrade and learn cutting edge and what's happening in the world and in health and healing, and so yes, you're going to turn to those professionals that came there for that purpose, is to keep everybody uplifted. Does that make sense?
Yes. Um, how how will your core values define your objectives? How will you define these objectives? And what will the objectives of the ARC7 community be? And what are the ultimate, let's say, goals of arcology?
Okay, well, let's see. I don't have them memorized, but I'm going to share them with you really fast. So you have survival, body, mind, spirit, family, community, humanity. Okay, so then that means survival is money, body is health, mind is mindset, and education, spirit is emotions, and we're learning so much about emotions and how that's what really talks to the universe and makes things happen and draws things to you with the law of attraction and all of that. So emotions, and then family is relationships, and then community is your tribe that's currently with you in your ecology, and humanity is then the vision of building arcologies beyond this one that we're in. So when you talk about the core values, then the objectives and the core values are, the objective is for survival is financial well-being.
Mhm.
And so the core value then for, you would then try to write core values, which is what I did, try to write core values that would support stability. So if your core value for stability is like the first one is like, we believe in working together, that working together makes more sense than struggling alone. So that's like a very basic core value. And I have like bullet points on one page for each of these. I tried not to make it too too detailed where they could go like be outdated at some point. I tried to make them just like the most basic and highest and best again, so that you wouldn't have to constantly review them and rewrite them. But you are going to have to review them and rewrite them from time to time if we come to a place where things are just obviously changing on one of these. Okay, so
Are these the 10 commandments or comparable to 10 commandments from the Bible, or are these the seven the seven sins that they should avoid? How would you compare it with the Bible?
I don't consider them commandments. I consider them dimensions.
Okay.
So just life, it's the way life is. It's not like you choose to you have to survive. There's no choice. You have a body, there's no choice, right? You have emotions, there's no choice. So these are just dimensions. It's not, these are not options or whatever. So you have body, mind, and spirit, family, community, humanity. No matter who you are, where you come from, how much money you make, what country you're from, it doesn't make any difference. Every single person has these 7 dimensions in their lives. And so then if you start to create core values and objectives to support each of those and make them highest and best, make highest and best possible, right? So you want to have people involved who can do that, can help you do that. So I picture them being life coaches and obviously doctors and lawyers and the usual ones, but also some life coaches that can really help you reach higher and best in your own head. Does that make sense?
Yes. So how would you wrap up this chapter? What do you think is the most important? What is the highest value that people should take from this episode? And how would you everything that we talked about, how would you just wrap it up and said, okay, this is the most important, and also what is the difference from how things are today? I would also like to have your point of view on that.
Okay, so then if you don't mind, I'd like to just quickly state what they are, what
Yes,
the
please.
objectives are. Okay, so then survival, the objective is financial well-being. The body is the objective is health, obviously. The mind, the objective is meaningful life purpose. The spirit, the objective is freedom, and freedom from everything inward and freedom from oppression on the outside. Objective of family is connection, and the objective of community is meaningful contribution. And then the objective of humanity is peace. So then you can kind of see I've got like a list of core values, and for each one of those and bullet points, and we would go through these obviously and go, do I agree with this core value? Can I subscribe to it? Can I get into it? So this is why I was saying before, last time we talked about religion. Religion starts to dictate core values that create division and make it so that only the true believers can really come and be involved and enjoy that particular group. So then they'll pick something that is, to me, a personal choice, like shaving your legs. I know that there's some religions that say you can't shave your legs and you can't cut your hair. You can't, you know, some can't shave your face if you're a man. Just things like that is like, what does that have to do with anyone but me? And whether I shave my legs or whether you shave your, you know, but yet it becomes a very crucial component to that group because it's a physical thing you can see and say, oh, they don't belong here. Or they do belong here because they have the right look. So I wanted to stay very far away from any of things like that that start to give us reason to reject others, to feel superior. And I think a lot of those things just are ways to make us feel like we belong and they don't. So it creates an us and them situation. But so none of our core values are going to do that. They're just real core values that you can't argue with, like life is precious. You know, well, maybe someone argue, no, life isn't precious. You know, it's like, no, yeah, life is precious, and we want to preserve life to the greatest extent possible within our power to do. So then, if somebody read that and said, I don't believe that, I don't believe life is precious, I just can't imagine anyone coming to that and arguing with it. So I tried to find the deepest core values that really no one can object to. And if they do object to, you really wouldn't want them there. You wouldn't want to involve them.
Okay. Thank you very much for your insights. As always, I will put the link to your book and other resources in the description below. And looking forward for our 7th episode next week.
Yeah, and if anybody does download it or have any comments, please send me an email. I'd love to talk to people.
Thank you, Teré. Thank you for being my guest tonight. Thank you for this beautiful episode. Thank you for all the details and explanations.
Thank you.